Hello, friends. This is your host on Project Drona, and I welcome you to a fresh series in the project called Laws in Banking and Finance. Why is this series important? Well, primarily because this will help you for your JAIIB and CAIIB examinations and to develop a holistic understanding of various laws in banking and finance careers as laid down in our country. Because most of the times, what we do as bankers or finance personnel has legal implications. So, it is important for us to understand what those laws mean. So, let's get started. We have divided this series into a couple of modules. You will get to know about these modules as we progress along in the videos, and every module is going to have a bunch of videos. The first module is called Legal Framework of the Indian Banking System. And in this module, we are going to cover banking related acts and other enactments like the State Bank of India Act, the RBI Act, the Banking Regulation Act, and other enactments of legal import. ये जानना हमारे लिए ज़रूरी है not only to develop a theoretical framework in our heads as to where our professions come from or how have they been legally defined in the constitution, but also because we as professionals have to live it and we need to understand where it comes from. Before we go any further in this video or in this series, I would like to have a discussion with you about how to go about watching these videos. See, generally, as people trying to develop a theoretical framework or trying to develop a conceptual understanding of something, we generally tend to take our notebooks and start scribbling as soon as we hear something important. However, in my opinion, that should not be the case because, at least with this platform where you have recorded videos at your beck and call at the press of a button, you should first listen to the video, stay in a completely absorptive mode, and then once you have viewed all the video and you want to review, that is when you should take down your notes. And for the same purpose, we have tried to make this a little easier with this scroll icon on certain important slides. So you can watch it when you want and you can take down the notes where the scroll icon appears. How about the first thing that we do is discuss the definition of banking as laid out in the Indian law. We see that banking has been defined under Section 5B of the Banking Regulation Act, BR Act, as the acceptance of deposits of money from the public for the purpose of lending or investment. यानी कि बैंकिंग वो है जिसमें आप लोगों से डिपॉजिट्स एक्सेप्ट करते हैं उसे आगे लेंड करने के लिए या इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए. नाउ अगर आपको ये समझना है कि बैंक्स का ऑपरेटिंग प्रिंसिपल क्या है एंड हाउ डू बैंक्स फंक्शन इन एन इकोनॉमी, I'd say watch the Indian financial system video of the project. However, इस पॉइंट पे haha, that was WhatsApp on my phone. Anyways, what I was saying was that at this point, how we need to look at this definition is from a legal perspective. Okay, सो लॉ ये कहता है कि बैंकिंग उसे कहते हैं जब आप पब्लिक से डिपॉजिट्स कलेक्ट करो और उस डिपॉजिट को लेंडिंग के लिए यूज़ करो या फिर इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए. सो लेट मी आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन. LIC ऑफ इंडिया लोगों से डिपॉजिट्स लेती है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम्स एंड उसे इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए यूज़ करती है. सो इज इट लीगली अ बैंक? Yet, Another clause that clarifies the definition of banking is that such deposits may be repayable on demand or otherwise, and withdrawable by check, draft, order और otherwise. तो अब हमें क्लियर हो गया कि LIC को दिया गया डिपॉजिट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ प्रीमियम LIC को बैंक नहीं बना देता. एंड दिस वाज अ जनरल एग्जांपल. हाउएवर दिस क्लॉज दैट द डिपॉजिट जो आपने किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूशन को दिया है should be repayable on demand, that is as and when you ask for it, and should be withdrawable by check, draft, order or otherwise. This point is important to help you discern whether the institution you're dealing with makes it a bank or not. There are certain instruments used in this definition, check, draft, order, जिनमें कुछ चीज़ें आपको आइडिया होंगी कि क्या हैं, and some of them you may not be so clear about. But not to worry, we'll go ahead and discuss them in detail when we will discuss the Negotiable Instruments Act and the different forms of negotiable instruments. Another question that comes to my mind right now is, what about money lenders and financiers? Are they legal? Well, remember that the clauses specially provide for people accepting deposits. So, money lenders and financiers are not typically the guys who accept deposits from you. They simply lend money to you. Okay? So, आप सोचेंगे कि वो तो हमें भी मालूम है, that a money lender is not really a bank. But what we really need to know is that in case of a money lender, will the rules of banking laws apply? Right? Are you getting that? Because in the course of our professions, there are times when we have to deal with third party lenders or entities like non-banking financial companies, etc. So we need to have an understanding that when we are talking about Banking Regulation Act or the definition of banking, will it act like a bank? Will it have certain authorities as a bank? So which is why we needed to understand this. So money lenders and financiers, even if they are well established finance companies, they will not be banks typically, because the clause of accepting deposits is also very important. The deposits have to be accepted by them and must be withdrawable by customer on demand through check, DD, order or otherwise. And still, there is a brand of entities, non-banking entities, that accept deposits. So, what about them? Broadly, those non-banking entities that accept deposits and might even give loans are generally classified as 1. Non-banking financial companies or NBFCs, or 2. Companies that accept deposits, companies that have been defined, have been established under the Companies Act. Are you getting me? Can you think of some big NBFC names? Well, let me give you some off the top of my head right now. There is IDFC, there is IFCI, and there is Edelweiss Capital. I'm sure you can Wikipedia these names to have a better idea, to expand your knowledge base on certain names of NBFCs that are operating in India. So these non-banking entities that we talked of, how are they brought under the control of the regulators by law? Well, NBFCs are authorized to accept deposits under the NBFC's Acceptance of Public Deposits Directions given by the Reserve Bank, and the Chapter 3B of the RBI Act also helps them to accept deposits, enables them to accept deposits. As of the companies, Section 58 of the Companies Act provides for the same. पर इसके अलावा other individuals, firms and unincorporated association of persons जिनका business है as the business of a financial institution or acceptance of deposits primarily, they have been prohibited under the Reserve Bank of India Act Section 45 from accepting deposits. Let's have a little recap of what we have studied so far. बैंक तभी कहलाते हैं जब वो लोगों से डिपॉजिट्स एक्सेप्ट करते हैं फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ लेंडिंग और फर्दर इन्वेस्टमेंट, एंड दोज डिपॉजिट्स शुड बी रीपेएबल ऑन डिमांड एंड विड्रॉएबल बाय चेक, ऑर्डर, ड्राफ्ट और अदरवाइज. ठीक है जी. बैंक के अलावा दो और तरह की एंटिटीज़ हैं जो एक्सेप्ट करती हैं डिपॉजिट्स, प्राइमरीली NBFCs एंड कंपनीज. NBFCs को RBI के एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ पब्लिक डिपॉजिट एक्ट के थ्रू एनेबल किया गया है फॉर द सेम, एंड कंपनीज हैव बीन enabled अंडर सेक्शन 58 ऑफ द कंपनीज एक्ट. What else did we study today? That money lenders are not bankers, and how to be able to discern between a bank and a non-banking financial institution. So for now, I think this much is enough, and I'll see you in the next video.